I was a selfish prayer. We all are. We're human. We're always gonna, everything, a little bit of selfishness. Dude, my prayers evolved too. It became a thing. Like, man, like just tell me how to be of service. Put me where you want me. Ever since I've been doing that prayer, like he's just put me in places and he's putting people in front of me and he's putting me in front of them. And it's been life changing. Like I've had the gnarliest, heaviest conversations and I've seen people turn their lives around and I've been able to play a part in that. And it's rewarding.
Jimmy Queen, welcome to the American Glutton Podcast.
Big dog. Dude, nice to meet you, bro.
Bro, I wanted to hit you with a big dog.
Dude, hit it. I'll let you have it.
Big dog. I love it. Man, your energy is amazing, dude. I love watching you. It's just so, you know what it is? It's stoic, it's masculine, but it's positive. Yeah. There's a lot of people in this area who are like trying to like shame you into like doing what you need to do to get your results. You are so positive. It's amazing.
I know, dude. I kind of always saw that online and it just always rubbed me the wrong way and always turned me off. And it's just crazy because positivity is always going to go so much further, dude. Like, yeah. People are going to respond. People are going to like, it becomes infectious. And I've watched you and your journey and you know how it is. Like you want to enjoy it, dude. The whole point of this process is longevity and like sustainability. And bro, you want to be happy. That's the number one goal, you know? So if you're not showing that message of like positivity and happiness, like what are you doing?
Yeah, no, I totally. My mic is cutting out. I apologize. What is your evolution? Tell me about the Antisocial Sober Club. How do you get to where you are? Like, what is this journey all about?
Dude, this journey's just been life itself. Born and raised Huntington Beach kid. Grew up doing all the sports, surfing. I kind of grew up in the party scene. My parents, like started a family, 19, moved to HB from Cyprus. They were like the young ones, dude, in their group, the only ones that had kids. And all my dad's boys were like all the HB locals, like heavies, and they came over. So I was just always in that party scene and I looked up to it, dude. I loved it. Like it attracted me at a really young age. And then, as we got older, like you start getting to those ages, like my other role models that I looked up to that I didn't know was like the guys that fucking partied, and it was like party hard, get the chicks. That was it. Like rock star style mentality. I was just into it. And then, dude, it catches up to you, and Huntington's full of like so much talent, bro. Like there's so many great people here that are like beautiful people full of talent, but this place could be quicksand. I know that is like a lot of places. I kind of fell into my parents' steps in the sense of starting a family super young. My wife and she got pregnant right when we turned 20. And dude, we were both probably at the worst places in our life. I mean, we had each other, but that wasn't necessarily a good thing. Like we totally fed off each other, partied, and I don't know, things weren't going as good. And then we started a family, things kind of settled out. And then as you know, like your partner should be pushing you to do better and be better. And we started growing apart because we were like still growing up, 20 years old, starting a family. And dude, I just knew I kind of got sober different than a lot of people. I was fed up and I knew I was done. God played a major role in that for me. And I know we all kind of sit there, you're driving on the freeway, whatever, you kind of talk to yourself in your head and you have those conversations. I was doing that all the time. I did not like who I was looking at, I love my old man more than anything in the world. He's my fucking best friend. And, he struggled my whole life. He did. And he battled with addiction and he lost his first son. So I wouldn't have made it. I have everything that he's gone through and the struggles that the way he dealt with his struggles, I don't knock him at all because I don't even think I could have survived what him and my mom went through. So, but I didn't want my kids to have these memories of like, who the fuck is this? This isn't my dad, you know? Like, I wanted to be the best version of myself for them. I wanted to prove the world wrong. Like, you can be young, 20-year-old, and you could figure it out if you try, you know?
Yeah.
So, dude, Conor McGregor fought Eddie Alvarez, bro. That was my last deal.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, all nighter. I went till like 6 a.m. Dude, drank, snorted, chewed on every pill and baggie there was. Felt like sick for a week. And that voice was in my head, like, dude, you're done. You're over it. And I didn't even tell anybody. Because I didn't want to like say it out loud and then fail,
Yeah.
and let people down. So um, all of a sudden, I'm like a month or two into my sobriety. My best friend, David, he was super strung out at the time. Me and him, we've been running together since we were 12 years old, like thick as thieves, dude. Anything he did, I did. There's nowhere we weren't like together. We were always together. He had fallen through some pretty rough patches throughout the years, and I kind of gave up on him this last run, like I had my kid and I just couldn't be dealing with it, So I hadn't seen him in a little bit. I knew he was deep. He was like slamming coke and shooting meth in his neck because he couldn't hit his. I mean, bro, he was bad. He's a big boy, 6'3", 6'4". He was down to like 175 pounds. Like he's never been thin. He's always been a bigger dude. Um, Calls me one day and I'm at work. He's like, "What are you doing?" And he didn't sound good. And I go, "Hey, bro, like I'm sober." And it's like I hadn't really told anybody. And it was crazy. I didn't know this until my 7th year sobriety, but that phone call and conversation we had together, he was in his mom's garage. They were trying to get him to go to rehab and he didn't want to go. And he talked to me and he heard I was sober and he said he just he gave in, and he surrendered and he went.
Like
And
he was almost throwing a lifeline out to you, hoping you'd go
yeah,
like, come to my place. I got you.
yeah. And it's just all these little things. To me, that's God, like it's crazy. Like there's coincidences, but man, I've had a lot of coincidences happen in my life then, like, and I just think God's been up above watching over me. And, he went to treatment, met his wife, got with his wife. We had already known her. She is an ex-addict, crazy story. That's a whole nother deal. But yeah. And then, from there, it was just crazy. So, my marriage I thought we were doing better. So I got sober, I got baptized. I found like I fully committed to Jesus. My whole family was baptized. My parents never pushed that on us. They wanted us to have our own relationship. It was crazy. Like I get baptized, all of a sudden, boom, I landed the career that I wanted. And, as we all do, like all my prayers were selfish, bro. Like, what could you do for me? I need this. I need money. I need this. I need me. And bro, I got humbled. I got checked. I was walking alone. I knew stuff was going on the home front at my house with my wife. I knew she was struggling. I didn't want to deal with it. I was a man, bro. I went to work. I worked 100 hours a week. I didn't need to deal with this. I provide the paycheck. That was my mentality. I don't need to deal with this.
Yeah.
And that's just not being a man, bro. Like, it's just not, like a real man could be vulnerable. A real man has to face everything that goes on in his home. And she ended up checking into treatment and that was rough, bro. Like that was a really, really scary time for me. Young, didn't know if my family was going to make it, like kids are asking like where mom is. And it was brutal, dude. Work got as busy as ever, which was a good thing at the time because her addictions had put us in a pretty hard financial situation. And bro, I was driving to work by myself every day, dude. I'd cry, praying to God, like, dude, why are you doing this to me? Like, like almost irritated. And I thought I was doing everything right. But man, like, dude, we go through those struggles for a reason. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Those struggles build us up. And I really 100% truly believe we don't go through anything that we can't handle. And those are when I look back, all the struggles that I went through with my marriage and with her and my own sobriety, I thank God for it because it really did build me into the person I am today. I'm so resilient. I understand so many situations. Um, it's created layers to me that I didn't know I had. And it's also brought me to people and like I could connect on another level because I just know what a lot of people have gone through. Even if it's a little bit of a different situation, I could just feel for them, you know? And she got sober. I wasn't even going to stay together, dude. You know, I was over it. I was like, I'll get her. I got her a pad. I already had it lined up. Then I had some people in my life that I was like, okay, some people I need to cut out, some people I need to bring in and keep close. You know, you start to find out who your real ones are when you're on the bottom, you
Yeah.
know. And I was very aware and weary of whose advice I would take. I just had some good friends. David was one of them. He was sober now. He had found God and he was like, dude, you guys made a commitment. One of my best friends, that I looked up to. He's older than me, but he's a pastor on the side and just ex crazy punk rocker, bro, blasted down. So he had like the look I was always attracted to growing up, but he had figured it out, you know, and he
Right.
was a good person and for God and health. And he was my training partner at the time. And he was one of those guys that was like, he's like, what are you going to do, bro? Like, I support you no matter what. You know, I love you, but what are you going to do? And I was like, I think I'm done. He's like, hey, well, if that's what you want to do, I support you, but she's putting in the work right now, dude, and you might miss that best version of her.
Right.
And that just changed my bro like whole perspective. I was like, because I was seeing those changes within her, you know, and I haven't seen this side of my wife. I don't even know if I had ever met this version of her because we've known each other most of our lives since middle school. And she went through some super heavy traumas at 18 that really stemmed her downward spiral, you know, with like some bad abuse that girls go through. And so, man, it was just like I just gave it another shot. And dude, we surrendered, we gave it to God. We focused on each other for the first time. We started communicating for the first time. We canceled out all that outside noise, dude, that the whole world's always it didn't matter. It was me and her versus the fucking world, dude. And it's been beautiful ever since. My dad got sober after. My dad saw us sober and happy. Never seen him sober my entire life, dude. He got sober. My mom was born with a heart condition. She's an identical twin. She ended up getting her heart fixed and she was having issues with her. She had to get a pacemaker. I think the first year with her pacemaker, her heart had like 35 incidents.
Oh,
And then
wow.
she got sober to support my dad. The next year, the doctor checked up on her, zero incidents with her heart. He's like, what did you do different? You know, she's like, oh, I quit drinking. He's like, dude, don't drink, you know, and then my sister got sober. My brother-in-law got sober. And it's just been this infectious, contagious, beautiful thing. And now it's like, I just have an army and soldier of just good people in my life. And that's because you put out that energy. That's that positivity, dude. That's you receiving what you put out. And I tell people that like you wake up pissed off every day and you hate the world and you're angry, dude, you're going to get nothing but that throughout your day, you know, and we can't control everything in our lives, but we could definitely control our attitudes.
Yeah.
We could decide to be happy. It might be hard, dude. You know what I mean? Like, but make the decision, make that conscious effort to go, you know what, today's going to be a good day. Go through some affirmations, do what you have to do.
Yeah, man. The surrender piece is so, I think, integral. I was overweight my whole life from the first diet I was put on. I was 5 years old. I resisted, and and then I resented my parents for it also, and my grandparents and everybody around me. I resented them, and then I got on drugs. I was a junkie, but when I would first, I'd wake up going like this, I can't do this. My habit's too expensive and I'm making a lot of money and it's still too
Yeah.
expensive and people run out. Nobody can provide me with, an 8 ball a day of heroin. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, I go like, okay, I'm going to stop doing this and I'll just do pills and drink. And that's where I'm resistant to surrender. I'm so resistant to surrender in every aspect of my life. Even with diet, I would go like, tell me the one thing I have to do. That's resistant, man. That's
Yeah.
not surrender. Surrender is this is the entirety. It's everything. It's
100%.
it's a hard change. And I also think that's dangerous too, because it's kind of hard for people to make, if without a foundation, you build a house of cards. If you try to change everything in a day, it
No.
can collapse on you. So it's a tricky thing. But now today, I love you talking about surrender. Now today, when I sense resistance in myself, that is the first sign where I have to look inward and go, why am I resistant to that? What's going on that whatever it is, you know what I mean? My friend invites me out to dinner and I'm suddenly like, if I go out to dinner, I'm going to eat a bunch of garbage. Do I have to? Or could I go out to dinner and get a steamed fish and broccoli? You know what I mean? And some
Yeah.
rice. Could I figure that out? What's happening within me that's resistant to that? And it really is surrender. I don't know that my surrender is identical to yours, but it is a version of surrender.
100%. And everyone's is going to be different. Like sometimes people struggle with surrender because it's ego, dude.
Yeah.
Like, especially as men. Like your ego could be a good thing. It could get you to accomplish some great stuff, but your ego could get in the way of like so many things, dude. So many beautiful things because you're not willing to drop it. And why? You look at someone like you, like crazy career from a young age, dude, always in the spotlight. Like that's like almost like a built-in ego that you have to perceive this image because the whole world's looking at you. And it's like, when you surrender and let go and realize this is my fucking life, dude.
Yeah.
No one else matters. That's super hard to do. It's not like it's easy,
No. Yeah.
but like surrendering for real and doing it for you to be your authentic self at some point in life you have to, dude, because there's going to be a void because you're never being
Yeah.
and that's one of the biggest things. And that's something that I also like to showcase through like social media because we live in a world of fakes, dude. We really
Yeah.
do. Um,
Well, I mean, to that point, recently, and your video made me think of it. I was looking at some of your videos, and one of them, it literally was like a mirror to myself because my wife and I were on a road trip not long ago, and she wanted to just quickly, you want to get from point A to point B. She's
yeah.
like, we got to get gas. Let's just grab some snacks here. And I'm like, I can't eat at a gas station. I have to have special food. We have to spend time and do a search and like Yelp and find a clean restaurant around here. And there was so much resistance to that. And you're right. It is ego. I watch your video and you're like, there's always a Chevron. Let's eat clean here.
Yeah.
And you get a really great meal at the Chevron. And I was like, oh yeah, I need to check some of that stuff still. And there's so much, I love social media. Social media,
Sure.
if you get the right algorithm, it's super positive.
Dude,
It's great.
you nailed it, bro.
Yeah.
So when you fix your algorithm up, it's beautiful, and you start to see all these things. Like, dude, look up good quotes. You're just gonna like positive. You're gonna get like affirmations like every
It's
time.
awesome. Yeah.
It is, dude. You follow politics, bro. You're gonna be pissed off like all the time because you're just
Right.
gonna be like negative, negative, negative. The world's ending, and it's like, oh my god, I'm stressed out all the time.
Yeah.
So like, social media could be an absolute powerhouse. I never utilized it, dude. Up until I didn't even like promote anything on social media up until like December of this year. Last
Really?
year, yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
it was UFC fights, surfing, and that was it, and
Yeah.
I just, dude, for the longest time. So like, even to just touch back to what I was doing before, had gotten sober and we're the best we've ever been, dude. So happy. But man, like you listen to people like you and see things that you've done. And of course, like you're on the road, podcasts are just always on the go. I spent so much time on the road in the union, local 12, operator engineers. So we're traveling all around California, and I'd just be listening to podcasts, and you just hear all these people like the Tony Robbins, like Joe Rogan, like, dude, these guys are accomplishing like everything, and it's super inspiring, but like you're supposed to do something when you feel inspired.
Yeah.
Like I was always waiting for the next podcast, dude. And at some point, I just knew it was time to write my own fucking story. And dude, it was like, you know what? I like kind of like you said, I saw all these people all in your face, guilt trip you into shaming you to start eating healthy and whatever. And I was like, dude, I'm gonna jump in this. I've been so even throughout my partying and my addiction and my wife's, the gym was always a safe place for me. It was just always that one thing that I've had. And of course, when I got sober, I locked in way harder and saw more results, but it's always been a happy place for me. It's always been somewhere where I could go and pour out whatever emotions I had and kind of walk out of there feeling good because I just challenged myself. So at work, I always got everybody on point, got everybody on the meal plans. Like, dude, if you were on our crew at work, like you better hit the gym and you better food prep. You know what I mean? Like, we'd all share our food and like everyone's hitting the gym. We'd all check in on each other, total accountability text messages, like because we'd get scattered throughout California. Everyone, it'd be funny if someone like looked at our text thread, a bunch of grown men like shirts off selfies, like, but it was an accountability thing, bro. And we supported each other, So I knew how much positive could come out of like helping people, and I helped so many people at work, and I've trained forever, and I've just always been really good at it. I've always been able to walk into a gym and just put it all together. And my wife was a trainer at the time. She was doing like spin classes and boot camps, and I wanted her to get into it. And she finally had quit that. She wanted to be at home with the kids full time, and I was like, you should like jump in the online thing. And she's like, I'm just really enjoying being home with the girls. She's like, you should do it. And I'm like, all right. She fully like, and I had some other friends that were really pushing me, and I didn't really have, I knew I could do it, but again, like putting yourself online permanent, I was like, I don't like had these reservations.
It's a lot. It really is. And by the way, no matter what you're doing, if you're being the biggest dickhead or you're being super positive, it's a vulnerable position.
100%. 100%. And like that, you're like, am I going to fail? Am I going to do? And then I was like, dude, you know what? Like I have a great career. I have fun. I work with a lot of my best friends, but this is just a passion of mine, dude. And I want to see what I could do with it. So I jumped in December, and man, I was like, the one thing I want to be me. I'm not following anyone else's, how to do this deal. I'm going to showcase myself, dude. I'm going to be as real as I can, authentic as I can. I'm going to be me because you know what? There's 365 days in a year. And if you got to pretend to be somebody else, bro, you're going to slip, So I was like, I'm just going to be me. No one else could be me. So that's what I did. And people responded well. And it's been rad. Like you said, there is like, not only does your algorithm pick up on positivity, but man, then people start receiving the message that you're putting out, and they reach out to you. And just to know that, like, even the people I don't work with, like hearing the messages of like, man, you've inspired me. I'm doing this. I'm eating this, dude. It's so rad.
Yeah.
It's so fulfilling, bro. And that's just been a huge thing. And kind of, how I told you, I used to always pray. Like I was selfish. I was a selfish prayer. We all are. We're human. We're always gonna, everything, a little bit of selfishness, but dude, my prayers evolved too. It became a thing like, man, like just tell me how to be of service. Put me where you want me. And ever since I've been doing that prayer, like that's what he's just put me in places, and he's putting people in front of me, and he's putting me in front of them, and it's been life changing. Like I've had the gnarliest, heaviest conversations, and I've seen people turn their lives around, and I've been able to play a part in that. And it's rewarding. Like getting in shape is cool. And I know like you've gone through that journey, and being in shape is rad because, you see the work you put in, but it's what it does up here. Like you
100%. But
found out.
I mean, to your point, I think like it never really came together for me until, I mean, I figured some other stuff out. There's definitely stuff that I figured out for myself that I really needed to go through. And it took a long time. But the portion that you're talking about being of
Oh,
service,
I just lost you on volume.
oh shit, am I there? Yo,
The
yo,
audio just kicked off.
shit. Can you hear me now? Jimmy,
Oh,
check
got
it.
you back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Back.
The the key to all of it, I think, was what you're talking about when I went, okay, I've done this again because I've done this a bunch. I've lost 200 pounds multiple
Mhm.
times. I don't want to do it again. I've found this structure that works that I think I can do forever. Now, how can I be of service to other people? How can I help somebody else? What can I benefit them? And it's never been for me saying you have to do X, Y, and Z. It's only been here's what I did. Here's what I found helpful. Here's what I found useful, which is another aspect to your videos that I love. It's
Yeah.
all just suggestions like, hey, here's an
Yeah.
idea, dude. Here's something you
Yeah.
could do.
And that everyone's different, dude. People are going to respond to different foods. People are going to respond to different workouts. And at the end of the day, like you were saying, like, dude, getting thrown these diets at a young age, like, bro, you want to enjoy what you eat still. Like you need to create that sustainability. You can't be miserable. So you have to find what works. And that's balance. Like we all know you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. We get it. You know what I mean? But like live your life too, dude. Like go on a date with your wife. Like if you're not enjoying any of it, what is it even for?
Yeah,
You know?
if it's so miserable and so
Yeah.
tedious, it's not going to last. And if it doesn't last, then what are we doing?
Yeah. And then it just becomes a repeated cycle, which is insanity.
Yeah.
It's same results every time. And that's the thing. And that's where I tell people too, like, and the gym can be crazy because there's so much good that comes with it, but you could get caught up, dude, and you could be like overly self-consumed. And like, I get it. I am very much that A, like type A, like I gotta go to the gym, gotta go to the gym. I can't miss this workout. I gotta eat this meal. And dude, don't forget about those around you, your family. Like you should be doing this to be the best version of you, not let it take over your entire life. It's kind of like got to have those checks and balances, dude. You know what I mean? Here's my
Yeah.
priorities. What's in the red? What's in the green?
Well,
Keep tabs on them.
yeah, that's what I think happens when there is no great foundation. Like obviously the foundation for you sounds like sobriety and your family and you've got this foundation. It didn't all happen on day one. You didn't
No,
you
dude.
you didn't wake up from the
Yeah.
Conor McGregor fight and go,
No.
I'm going to start a movement, a cultural movement, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm going to get sober and start this and help people.
Yeah.
It requires a base and you can kind of figure some of it out and I think it changes and evolves and you got to be open to that. Every
Totally.
when I struggled, when I experienced resistance, it was always this idea that I just needed to do one thing. And once I did that one thing, I was done. Right. And bro, it's even to getting jobs. Like I'm an actor. I will never have to stop getting jobs. I'll always have to get another job because my jobs are for, the longest job I've ever had. Well, there was My Name is Earl. That was like 4 years. So that's the longest job I've ever had, 4 years long. But typically a job's like 4 months. And then I
Yeah.
got to get another job. I desperately the resistance in me and the selfishness and the ego in me wants to just get a job and be done getting jobs and
Yeah.
I want to just lose weight and be done losing weight and you know what I mean. I want to get married and be done being getting married, but no, if I want to have a relationship with my wife for the rest of my life, there's still some aspect of it where it's got to be courtship. I've got to take her out sometimes. I've got to buy her flowers. That doesn't end when you get married. I mean,
Dude, 100%, and like that's the thing, like those foundational things, those like pillars that make your life. You have to nurture those things, dude. And a lot of people, and maybe they just want to be done or they want to quit. Like grass is greener on the other side type of thing. It's like, bro, the grass is greener where you water it, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you need to nourish those things and just be attentive. Like, balance is the hardest thing in the world. Like, dude, your job, 4-month job, you're probably gone, you know?
Yeah.
And that is a challenge. But, you know, you have to like utilize your time when you do. Can you FaceTime the wife? Can you fly home for the weekend before the job or after the job when you are home? Like, be extra present. You know what I mean? We can't control certain factors, but we can control the time that we do have when we have it. And you just have to utilize it, you know?
Yeah.
And it plays a major thing. And like you said, like none of this happens overnight and it never ends. Like I'm still learning. I do not have it all figured out by any means. But when I had gotten sober, like everything got harder.
Yeah.
Everything. I went
Yeah.
through all the challenges, dude. So like people hit me up, they're like, dude, I'm sober, but I'm struggling. I was like, yeah, I did too.
Right.
Like
But most of my drug use was because it allowed me to check out of those struggles. The struggles were
100%.
still there. I
Yeah.
just wasn't
Yeah.
dealing with them.
Weren't facing them, dude. You
Yeah.
just, you just numb yourself so you couldn't feel it. And that's the thing. And like you can make all these right moves in your life, and it doesn't mean everything's just gonna get better. But that's what's building you up, and you have to just stick with it. Like I watched an interview with like Kobe Bryant, dude, and he was the best, like the one guy I wish I probably would have looked up to when I was younger instead of some of the other role models I had. But like whether you succeed or fail with what you're going for in life, dude, you still have to put in the work. Like you
Yeah.
said, like it's ever evolving. Like Kobe was like, okay, you go, you win. Well, now you gotta, if you are succeeding, now you gotta earn it every day. You gotta keep it. You
Right.
don't just, it doesn't stop. You don't stop losing the weight because you got there. You have to earn that every day.
Yeah.
And dude, if you fail, you didn't really fail. You just got to keep trying. So either way, dude, the work's going to be there. You know what I mean? So you just have to do it. And you don't have to future trip. You don't have to think, well, where am I don't know if I could do this for 30 days in a row or 6 months in a row. Dude, it's one day at a time. That's another reason why I love bringing sobriety in with fitness, because they do run parallel in so many different ways. It really is like, it's one day at a time, dude. Like chill. Here's today. The work, what work you have to put in front of you and what you got to run through today. So just get through today and then
Yeah.
get through. And you're going to notice, dude, that time's going to stack up. Those chips are going to stack up. You're not even going to realize it. You're going to look back 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and there's going to be freaking growth. You know what I mean? That weight got easier to move. It got easier to wake up at 4, to be in the gym at 5. You've seen the weight loss because you've been eating those cleaner meals. You just have to give yourself grace, dude, and allow time to come into action. Like people want instant gratification on everything. And I
Yeah.
get it, because that's how the world is set up. Like, dude, my kids don't know what a commercial is. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
they're called ads now,
Yeah.
and we're like, get out of this ad. It's 10 seconds. I'm watching something. So we want that instant gratification, but dude, all the beautiful things are delayed gratification, because those are all like, at the end of the day, no matter what, you put in the work to get where you're at, whether it's the jobs that you land, the weight that you lost, the muscle you put on, like you did that, dude. And it's a beautiful thing. And at the time, it might seem like a total pain, but as the time goes on and you look back, you're like, damn, dude, I'm a lot stronger than I realized I was. I am a lot more capable than I ever thought I was. And that confidence you receive from that is what you use to the days ahead,
Yeah.
and really start to figure out like, and that's what happened with me. I'm like, dude, I could do what I want as long
Yeah.
as I stay consistent and I believe in myself and I remove the ego of like caring about others. But I mean, I couldn't even imagine being an actor, dude. Like you're literally like judged for a living almost, like, so to be able to turn that off and to know that you did your best or you did what you felt was like, that was the performance you wanted to put on. If you're happy with it, you're good.
That's it. Yeah. That's all. That's all I can control.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that I think is great with submission is like I can't blame anything else. You know what I mean? The world is the world. The world has nuclear weapons. I wish it didn't, but it does. You know what I mean? It does. I can't, no amount of me bitching about them is going to make them disappear. They're there. I got to deal with it. The same way I got to deal with McDonald's.
Yeah.
I am drawn to it. I want a Big Mac with fries and sweet and sour dipping sauce. That's what I want. But that's
Yeah.
not in the cards for me. That fucks up my life, so I have to stay away. But McDonald's doesn't have to go away in order for me to live my life happily. You know what I mean?
100%. Like one of my best friends, dude, my roommate, he just told me the same thing. He got sober. We lived together, me and the one guy, David, I was telling you with. We were just, he had an iron worker. I was dealing drugs at the time and a crane operator at like 18 years old, bro. It was a very bad combination. He had gotten sober and he just hit 13 years. And we just, every once in a while we talk. We don't talk all the time, but when we do, it's always rad. And he was just telling me, he's like, dude, alcohol was never my problem. I was my problem. Alcohol is always going to be there, dude. There's always
Yeah.
going to be those vices that you can't remove it. The war, dude, like you
Bro,
said,
I just gave up 5 hour energy drinks. I just
yeah,
had to quit that. And every time I quit something, it's as though I like start to think, well, I'm gonna have to take a week off because I'm gonna be sick. And
yeah,
life ends. I can't take any calls. I can't. And then you realize, like, no, it's not the same thing. But you feel like you're giving up a part of yourself quitting
oh,
stuff. You
totally.
know what I mean? And
You feel like you're missing out too. Like you don't know.
100%. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
what does life even mean without my pre workout? Like, that's what I
Yeah.
used as a pre workout. For years, I got a blood test, and my doctor was like, your B6 is fucking off the chart. Are you sleeping okay? And I was like, not really. And he was like, what vitamins are you taking? And I was like, I don't take vitamins. And he was like, somehow you're taking B6. Well, guess what? It's in 5 hour energy drinks and I don't metabolize it right. And he's like, you have to
Yeah.
stop taking that. And it was as though he took my safety blanket away or something. Like, what else do I have? I don't
Yeah.
do anything. I've got that one thing. And every now and again, I miss him like a junkie. It's
Oh, 100%.
crazy.
Yeah, 100%. That's energy drinks for me, dude, in general. Like at work, we lived on them, bro. It's caffeine and nicotine, dude. Like, throw a lip in the mouth, dude, smoking a cigarette with a thing. It's like caffeine, nicotine, caffeine. And like, I would have food and be like, I should probably eat right now because we have so much work to do. But I didn't want to eat and slam the energy. I'd rather have the energy drink, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I was like addicted to them and I loved it. And I'd get all tingly and like I'd feel like, all right, let's go, dude. It's time, go time.
Yeah.
But like then the day you don't have time to get one and you're at work, I'm like, oh wow, this is like I'm actually addicted to them because
Right. Now I have
I'm
to
stressing
confront
out.
life. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I'm stressed out because I don't have a damn drink, with a
I'm
bunch
like
of
trying to
100
warm
milligrams.
up. Yeah, I'm trying to warm up in the gym and I'm like, why am I not warm? Why am I still sluggish? Oh yeah, I don't have that stimulant in me.
Yeah. It's so crazy, dude. So yeah, it's there's always gonna be those, and anything could turn into a habit. It's just you want to turn the healthy ones into the habits, dude.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta beat it into you, bro. You know what I mean? Like for you, it's not 5 hour energy drinks. Maybe you start chewing on a couple dates and some green tea extract or something to get rolling, and dude, that's what's cool. And then like the other side of this whole thing is like, I don't know for you, like, or who you like to train with and everything else, but like, man, all of a sudden when you're putting yourself in these positions every day of like doing better, you start attracting better people and at least people with the same common interests as you, which in my experience, bro, from the people that I talk to every day, most people are missing that in their life. And that's
Well,
another.
no, there's a good point you're making here because obesity, addiction, these things are communicable. You,
Oh,
if you're around a bunch of addicts, you are basically your potential for becoming an addict skyrockets. If you are around obese people, now look, I don't think you have to stop talking to anybody who's obese if you want to get fit. But I think it's not a bad idea to find like-minded people to
100%.
associate with.
100%. I think that's it. I think that plays a major role in life in general. Like I don't like I didn't stop being friends with people that still partied and everything else when I had gotten sober. But you need to position people in the right place in your life. You know, it's not that you have to cut them out, but there needs to be a boundary, and certain people need to have certain distances with you, and that's up to you. And you're allowed to do that. Like boundaries are good, dude. You're allowed
Yeah.
to set boundaries with relationships, friends, family, things that aren't going to promote the best out of you. Well, that is you need to take control of your life, and that is up to you, you know. And the more you fill your life with like-minded people, it's going to force you to grow. And like that was kind of like with the antisocial sober club. Like it's my best friend's company. Like so David had gotten sober after me, then my wife, and David's wife was already sober. We were all together. It's just we built this freaking army, dude. Like we would look around. I'd look to my left or my right on a daily basis. Everybody was sober. It wasn't even like intentional. It just that's what I attracted, you know.
Yeah.
So that community, and that community becomes a huge part of your foundation, like you were saying. Like that's what keeps the house, the home front strong. And that was kind of why they started this brand. There is a community out there, and there is people you could reach out to, you know. So this is just promoting sobriety and a healthy lifestyle. And it doesn't have to be drugs, but people need like community, and they need to remove the toxic community that they're in and start placing themselves in position. Like how many times do you go to the gym at 5 a.m. and you see the same person? I guarantee you that person is probably pretty healthy, dude. You know,
Yeah.
they probably have a lot of like everything they do is, I mean, it's structure. They're there every day. Those are the people you want in your life. And like you said, it's not going to happen overnight, dude. I didn't build those surroundings around me in a day. It took a long time. And people get very like, they think it just happens all at once, right? And they feel alone. And you are going to feel alone probably multiple times throughout your life, especially when you create change, because that's what you're doing. You are creating change, and to make change happen, you have to freaking make change. So now you're removing yourself from the people or the situations you used to be in, which can be lonely, but that's where the growth comes from. And that's when you put your head down, you do the work, and you let time take place. And eventually you are going to build yourself up. You are going to attract the people that you want in your life with the same morals and values and common interests as you do. It
Yeah.
just, it's time. It's time, you
Well,
know?
I also think there's something nice about what you're doing because it's like a it's a different look to it. You know what I mean? Like when I
Yeah.
was a kid, the people talking about God and sobriety were nerds. They just
Mhm.
were. They had ill-fitting suits on. And then I was a punk rock kid. And then I was introduced to straight edge. And I was attracted to straight edge, but I wasn't like, I was too busy partying. And
Yeah.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
was there, but it was just like that guy with the X on his hand over there. You know what I mean? It wasn't like there weren't that many of them, to be honest with you, in Hollywood
Yeah.
in the early 90s. Um, and then, thank God for people like you, where it's like your whole thing is like you didn't have to check out and go like, become a different person and start listening to different music and dressing differently. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's still very cool.
Dude, I still bump Black Flag on the way to the gym, and the Misfits and Agent Orange and all the old punk bands that I loved listening to when I grew up. You could have fun sober, dude. And
Yeah.
that's what people forget. And you actually have a lot more fun, because when you do first get sober, you got to figure out, you start to find out who you are again. You know, like it's crazy because a lot of people don't deal with drinking issues or even partying. They could do it, keep under control. But even for them, like, hey man, like we're going to Havasu, cut it, don't drink. We're going to the river, going to Vegas. Could like say the normies have fun with removing those vices. Dude, it's a little bit challenging, you
Yeah.
know, because you got to be like vulnerable, your authentic self again. You have nothing to hide behind. You don't have those couple drinks to like take the edge off. And then me and you could go, talk shop and have fun and gamble. Like, dude, it's all you,
Yeah.
100%. And you become to like that person. You become to like be very comfortable in your own skin for the first time, because it's forced upon yourself every day. And like, I love to show that, man. And I want even the guys my age and everything else, I want them to know, like, bro, you could get started at any time. You could do it 30, 40, 50, 60. Bro, my dad got sober in his 50s. You know what I mean? He's a Grom, bro. That guy surfs every day now with all of his buddies, dude. He's like 15 years old, like it's rad. He got his life back, dude, and he's making like up for all the time that he lost. And I know, like we talked, like you were punked, like you're in the scene, you have these. I want to be able to be that guy where those kids can see, like, oh, he's in shape or jacked and tattooed, and but he's sober and he loves it and he has fun. And like, dude, that's what it can be. You
Yeah,
don't.
I think the fun aspect there's and even for me, there was a huge fear for many years of having fun. It was like fun is using
Yeah.
and sobriety is walking the straight and narrow and
Oh,
there's no
100%.
fun to it. And so I was very nervous about cutting loose or, you know, just like the idea of fun I was apprehensive of. And it took me some time and I can have tons of fun now, being
Totally.
totally sober.
Yeah, I think we're programmed that way. I mean, bro, like at the age of 12, under my understanding, fun was just like jacking my dad's kegerator and getting hammered. Like I thought that's what you were supposed to do for fun. Like, because that's what I saw growing up.
Yeah.
And eventually it's not fun and it is using. You know what I mean? Like now you're by yourself, you just put down a fifth of jack and you got a bag in your pocket again and again. And it's not fun anymore. You're just like using and time's going by. And that's the thing. Like there's such a big difference. And dude, it's crazy when you do remove it. Like I haven't felt like shit in almost 8 years. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yeah.
I wake up every day ready to go, like, and don't get me wrong, there's those hard days where I'm like not motivated or whatever, but it ain't because I'm hungover. I didn't do it to myself. I didn't bring that like pain upon myself, and dude, you wake up, you have the decision, dude, put on the smile, bro. Be that guy. Like
Yeah.
you could turn it around. You know what I mean?
I
So
will I will never forget I was 22, I was 550 pounds. I was a complete drug addict. I had congestive heart failure, so my legs were fully swollen up, and I was using drugs. And I got in bed to go to sleep, and I thought very level-headedly, I'm probably going to die in my sleep, and that was totally fine. Like it wasn't like a record scratch. The next day when I woke up, I was like, hey, this is not, who wants to be thinking like they're going to just die, like, and I can do something about this. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, that's so heavy. Like
and
almost
and
accepting.
and that pain, the physical pain, the mental pain. Yeah, so getting sober from that point, I went through some pain. Like I was uncomfortable for a while,
For
but
sure.
like since I've been sober for a while, I've never experienced anything to that level again. It's never been that dark. It's never been that much actual physical, literal pain, that much emotional turmoil. I'm just not bringing that into my life anymore.
And it's crazy because like you could look back at like the journey that you've had and like the struggles you went through to get where you're at, pushing yourself physically, mentally, everything, insecurities along the way, the gym, like, but none of that pain probably matched anything close to like laying in bed going, might not make it tonight. Like,
Not even close.
like that is real pain, dude. Everything else is you're struggling, but you're choosing a good struggle that you're bringing it upon yourself, dude, which
Yeah.
is like, which actually feels good, and like everybody struggles, dude, and that's what like people need to come to acceptance. You're never alone. They're all going to be different, like through addiction, through insecurities, through mental health. Everyone's going to struggle, but I swear, like, where do you think strength comes from?
Yeah,
Like,
well, I mean, you said it, Jimmy. It's the immediate gratification versus the delayed gratification. All drugs and food ever were for me was trying to avoid discomfort right now. That's all it was. I'm
yeah,
uncomfortable with myself, whether it's literally physically and I need to take pills because I'm in pain, or it's like just mentally uncomfortable with myself, and food will somehow fill that void I sense within myself and distract me from it and give me some dopamine or serotonin or whatever it is to calm down the anxiety I'm feeling right now.
Totally.
But the later result was so much worse, and I keep kicking it down the road and kicking it down the road and kicking it down the road, versus if I just allow that discomfort to wash over me and go like, I'm really uncomfortable right now. Okay, well, let me check it out. I'm not resisting it. I'm accepting it. I'm submitting to it. And this is what it is to be uncomfortable. It's never as bad as it is when I'm trying to avoid it or I'm resistant to it.
100%. And it's crazy. Like some of the points you brought up, like my wife went through that. My wife's really small, like 5'1" or something, a little shorty. And when she was in her addiction, like she got really small, like, 98 pounds or maybe less. And with her first year of sobriety, she ended up gaining a bunch of weight because kind of everything you just said, she was finding comfort. Well, she was just putting that comfort into food and like being home and staying reclusive and, didn't want to go out because you knew there was going to be booze and pills and all these things that could be triggers for her. So she kind of like hid.
Yeah.
And yeah, she had gotten sober, but she wasn't exactly healthy,
Right.
and that was another journey. And I had to like as the husband, like, hey, like come to the gym with me, come to the gym with me. Why? Like, you think I've gained? It's like, no, dude, I love you. I don't mind your weight. I know you're not happy, you
Right.
know, I know you're not happy because a big part of her addiction had stemmed from like kind of a little bit of body dysmorphia with the abuse she went through, and she never felt good enough. So it was always about taking like Adderall and methamphetamines to lose. That was always an easy fix, right?
Right.
To lose that weight, to somehow in her head, that was what she was supposed to look like. Cause that's a whole nother deal. But then it reversed. Like, yeah, I'm sober. I'm happy with where I am. I'm like, no, you're not. I know you. You're not happy. And you are a freaking badass, dude. And you could do it. You just got to, again, remove that ego and get out of your comfort zone. You don't worry about what anybody thinks about you in the gym. You're
Right.
putting in the work for you, like this is your journey. And man, I tried to train her at first. Terrible idea. Hired a trainer. I was like, dude, husband does not need a show. They'll tell the wife what to do with everything. But bro, like she found herself in the gym. And what's crazy was she was always kind of like not like antisocial, but like reserved and didn't want to go to the events and this and that. And then sobriety didn't help that because now you're avoiding events because of the vices around. And man, when she started going to the gym and she found out how strong she was, not just physically, but mentally, like she just blossomed,
That's
like
awesome.
it was just, she is the most beautiful person inside and out. And, that was another thing with what you were saying. When you hear these trainers, they almost like fat shame people, dude. It's fucked up. People usually are in a situation, whether it's their weight or whatever, because of probably something they're going through or have went through. And you should lead them to that journey of health and not make them feel like less than,
Yeah. I've never understood the, it's almost like this, Jimmy. Like if I go out into the world and I see something and I want it to be different, and I think about like, I just don't know what the goal is with this. If the people are like, I want to get this person to change, are they really thinking that by shame is the best metric to cause change? It's
Uh,
almost like people just resort to the easiest way out of like, well, there's I don't know, I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like
totally.
that key. I go like, what do we want to accomplish with what we're saying? All I want to accomplish is to say like, I struggled a lot, and here's how I got to a structure that I'm not thinking about dying all the time, a structure
Totally.
where I'm trying to be the best version of myself. If anything I say helps you, I'm really glad. Some of these guys who are basically fat shaming people, I just don't understand what they're trying to accomplish, because I don't think they're going to get a lot of people going like, well, that guy made me feel bad about being fat, so I guess I'll go out and try to improve myself. I don't know.
And I see some people doing it and it's like, what are you doing? Like, I could tell you're probably a nice guy. Like, this isn't even, you don't even look comfortable saying this, dude.
Right.
It's weird. Stop. Like, it's wild, bro, because you grew up acting, and it would be like you going online and posting a video saying, like, all right, you guys you didn't get the part because you suck. Instead, you could be like, how many parts I didn't get?
Right.
How many times I was told no? Like, dude, you could inspire them by telling them, I've been there.
Yeah.
I was overweight. I was too skinny. I was unhealthy. I didn't get X, Y, and Z movie parts that I wanted more than anything else. But maybe, hey, here's some things you could do, before your next audition or whatever it may be. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Like, we're all connected, bro. It's crazy. Like, we all
Yeah.
are. It doesn't matter like what your struggles are versus mine. I guarantee me and you could talk for 10 hours and relate to a million different things together that are different individually, but I would understand what you felt and you would understand what I felt. So why not hone into that? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Not tap into that and be like, bro, like, what's up? What is holding you back? Why are you at the weight you're at? What are your daily activities right now? What's going on in your marriage? Maybe, what's going on up here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, anecdotally, I got fat shamed an awful lot. It never resulted in change for me. The one thing that I think helped me was the feeling of being accepted by my wife, regardless. And it was love. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it was compassion and empathy. And that inspired me to change. Never, the shame never made me go like, God, I feel like shit about myself. It just made me feel like shit about myself. It just
Yeah.
almost made me want to do what I was doing more. You know what I mean? Because,
Yeah.
like, as a punishment or something, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So when I see these things, like, you know, America is obese. If you really are trying to, like, uh, send a message out there that results in widespread change, is that the right message? We've always had shame. It doesn't seem to be getting better with shame.
Yeah. True leaders lead from the front, dude. You just show people, just show them.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell them, like, and it's so rad because like what you said, it was love. It was acceptance for who you are. And by someone just accepting you, not shaming you in any way, they love you. They got your back no matter what. What did that do to you? It just made you want to be better.
100%.
Not different, stay you, but you wanted to just be the best version of you. And that's
Yeah.
all. It's not even has to do with the weight, but all of a sudden you have this girl that loves you and you love her. You want to be healthy now because you care about your life, because you care about her life,
Yeah.
So like you're doing it for the ones you love, but it does come down to just being the best version of you for them,
Yeah.
and that's what I wanted for my kids. And from fitness to sobriety to like starting my own business. And I wanted to show them like, dude, you really can do anything. Because a long time I just accepted that rad things happen to other people. I listen to on podcasts every day. But that's their life. That's not meant for me. But I wasn't even trying, dude. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Right.
I could sit there and complain all day and my kids saw it and they never saw me. I was gone, bro. 100 hours a week, all the time, just gone. And it's like, I knew I had this desire in me. I knew I had certain skill sets and talents, but I wasn't utilizing them. I wasn't honing into them. And I definitely wasn't putting any of it into action.
Right.
So with my kids, I've always shown them health. Like they've never even had a soda, dude, but it's like the health aspects there. We let them be kids and they drink whatever, they have their stuff. But I also wanted to teach them to like, I want you to do what you enjoy in life. Don't take a desk job because it's a safe salary. Like I want you to go. Your failure is not trying in this
Yeah.
house, and I can't tell them that and not show them that.
Right.
So that was a huge, motivator for me. Like, did I want to do it? Yeah. But for myself, yeah. But like wanted to show them, I wanted to be that guy for them. Man, my dad went for it, and he did it. So this is, with their life, now the clock's turning and they're 9 and 13, but you know what? Like they absorb everything,
Yeah. Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
you know?
Kids are such sponges. Jimmy, I think you're amazing. I love what you're putting out there. Thank you so much for coming on and
Yeah,
sharing this with us. I really appreciate it.
you're rad, dude. I so much respect for you and your journey, bro. I've looked up to you for a long time, and thank you for having me on. It was fun.
We'll have to do this again
Oh,
soon.
I'm down, dude.
All right,
You gonna
brother.
close it with the big dog or what?
Big dog.
Big dog.